Hey everyone, Chris here with another filler video. And today, what you're looking at right now is an incomplete recreation of a real-life pinball table in visual pinball called Hollywood Heat. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to notice in the video footage here because this is, computerized pinball as opposed to the real thing, so I can tell you right now, this is not playing like it should. Like, there's very few mechanical sounds going on. Some of the lights aren't even flashing that are supposed to be flashing. And if you actually look at the flippers, when the flippers are moving, you can actually see the digitized image of the flippers behind them, which, shouldn't really be there. This is clearly a work in progress. You can even see the debug information to the side there and the ball that got stuck under the flipper there after phasing through it. So yeah, to nuts with this. Let's go play the real thing. Yes, seriously, I actually did finally get myself a real, full-size, commercial quality pinball machine. Specifically, Hollywood Heat, as you can see right here. Now I know what a lot of you are probably already thinking, aren't pinball machines like thousands of dollars and really expensive, and how the heck did I afford this thing in the first place? Well, it really does depend on the machine. If you get old enough, you can get pinball machines that aren't anywhere near the many thousands of dollars. Like this one right here, usually it actually goes for less than $1,000, but I actually picked this one up for 1,000 Canadian exactly, which at this time is a little over 900 American. And the reason why it's that inexpensive compared to the average cost of a machine being several $1,000s is because it's not a very popular game. And the reason why it's not very popular is because it's one of the earliest alphanumeric games, and it doesn't really have a lot going for it in terms of the playfield design, in terms of what you can actually do. It's a really simple game. It's actually not very difficult either. And the theme of it, going for a sort of gaudy, retro 80s sort of theme, and also the sort of Miami Vice sort of thing going on, which, if you take a good look at the back glass, it clearly had that sort of inspiration. Like maybe they were actually going to try and get a Miami Vice license at some point, but couldn't really get it. But yeah, this is actually one of the easier machines to get, and makes for a great one for people who are just trying to get into this and want to own a machine. Plus, I already did have to do some, how should I put it, maintenance on this thing. When I first bought it, the plug was like this. Yeah, some operator in the past had cut the grounding prong out, or pulled it out or something. But as a result, I had to put my own plug on after cutting the original one off. Like there. So, yeah. You don't want to run a pinball machine that's missing its grounding prong. Like, that's just an accident waiting to happen. Another thing, too, is I actually had to replace the stickers on these drop targets. Well, I didn't have to replace them, but the thing is, these stickers on these drop targets were in really bad shape, as you can see from the photo I took earlier. Not to mention I had to replace some lights, and this red ramp here, it's a little chipped off at the side there, but is otherwise in great shape. And this is a really difficult piece to find intact, so this was kind of a good reason to get this machine too, was, this thing's actually working properly. Well, for the most part. Like that bulb right there for the extra ball light, I did replace it, but it's still not working, so it must be some other issue. Also, this slingshot right here doesn't work. I don't know why it doesn't work, but I'll figure it out at some point. The other slingshots are working fine, and all the rest of the lights are working fine. Well, except for that one that you can see isn't flashing in sequence. And of course, the most important part, the alphanumeric display, is indeed doing its job. And it's actually it's not this bright in real life. It's just the camera makes it look like it's glowing crazy bright. But it's actually much easier to read and much dimmer when you see it in person. So let's fire this thing up and actually play a game worth. Now I should point out that I'm having to stand at a really awkward angle to play this thing because of where I've had to put the camera, so I'm not going to be speaking while recording this, so this is actually sort of a commentary of me playing it. But right now, as you can see, I've already locked up one ball, and the goal in this game is to basically get into multi-ball and stay in multi-ball as long as you can. Which, is actually a strategy that applies pretty well to most machines. To get into multi-ball, all you gotta do is lock two balls, which, as you can see, I've already done now. And now all you gotta do is shoot the red ramp, and that was not the red ramp, but all you gotta do is shoot the red ramp and you start multi-ball. And when you're in multi-ball, all you're going for are drop targets. Man, I'm having trouble hitting that thing. Yeah, get it to a trap. Makes it easier to shoot. Ah, having a lot of trouble with that shot. Well, there I'm trying to do a post transfer so that I can shoot the ball from the other flipper. That was not ideal. Let's see if I can do better. Well, it still wasn't very good. It can be hard to get the ball to go where you want it to. Like, they often say when you talk about pinball stuff that the ball is wild, and I think this is a good example of that. There we go, there's that ramp shot. So multi-ball begins, and now I'm going for drop targets. The reason why you want to go for drop targets in multi-ball is because the drop targets, every time you complete both banks, you can see... Oh, man, that was terrible. Okay, every time you complete both banks of drop targets, it increases the value of the drop target banks. And actually, I just lit the special there from completing the pinball letters. You get a new letter in the word pinball in the middle of the field every time you roll over a lit lane at the top of the field there. But anyways, what was I saying? Right, drop targets. So the drop targets increase in value each time you complete both banks, eventually getting up to an extra ball potential. So completing the drop targets, and there's the special. But yeah, completing the drop targets gets you a lot of points once you've got the value up, but it's hard to get the value up outside of multi-ball because you have to complete both banks. In multi-ball, a special synchronization starts, and there's actually two in-sync lights that appear. That was... That's a move you couldn't pull off in a computerized simulation. But there, I actually completed both drop target banks now, and you can see the green lights flashing on them to indicate that the value's increased. But in multi-ball, the drop target banks are synced, so if you shoot down one target on one drop target bank, it shoots down the other ones too. So it actually makes it really easy to complete both banks in multi-ball, getting the value way up there. And right now, because I've got two balls locked, that red ramp is the priority shot. But if it doesn't go up, try it again, right again. There it goes. So I'm in multi-ball again. Let's see if I can do better this time. Oh, I already lost one. That did not go so well. But I completed both banks again. So... Ah, no. No. Okay. So last ball, no progress. But that's one of the reasons why this game isn't... get up there. There it goes. That's one of the reasons why this game isn't that popular, is because it's really simple when it comes down to it. Like, I mean, another thing you can go for is bonus multiplier, which is shooting down the 1 through 7 lights. 1 through 3 and 5 through 7 are on the main play field, which, you know, I just hit the 5 light there. But the 4 light is... the 4 light is in two places. It's up in the upper playfield area near the upper drop targets, and there's also a 4 light in the captive bumper area. Or the captive ball area, I should say. Anywho, so that game went okay, I guess, considering I'm standing at a really weird angle. Let's try another one and see where we end up. Okay, this is actually my last run on here, because standing at such a weird angle at this thing is making it really hard to play. I guess I could use some better equipment for that kind of thing, but... I've already really talked about most of what you can do in this game. There's actually a hot shot ramp right where the ball just went down there. It's actually a sort of ramp that lets you jump the ball from the lower playfield into the upper playfield from the right flipper. And there you can see the captive ball just going at it right up there. And there it goes. But yeah, it's a very weird setup how the captive ball the only bumper on the entire playfield, like the only pop bumper, is in that captive ball area. This is kind of a weird design. And yeah, the hotshot ramp lets you jump the ball up into the upper playfield area, but it's a really tricky shot, and the ball can just get lost easily if you don't make it. Now, even though I was ready for multi-ball there, the reason why I completed the drop target bank first is because if I accidentally complete the lower drop target bank now before getting into multi-ball, then I'll have the value advanced when multi-ball begins. Makes sense, right? That wasn't a bad post transfer. Ah. Oh. Down it goes. Pinball is hard. I mean, you play those computerized programs, believe it or not, the computerized stuff is a lot easier than real life. Because in real life, the physics are more likely to screw you over than actually help you. But at the same time, it's probably easier to... I don't know, it's probably easier to... Oh, got multi-ball going. It's easier to understand how the physics work in real life, even though it's harder to control them, really. At least I'm keeping all the balls up, sort of. Oh, I almost got it over the hotshot ramp there. Got the drop target values up. Oh, there goes one ball. I probably could have saved it, but I don't think I noticed that it came up there. And no. So yeah, short game, and the focus is going for some reason. But, oh well. I can do better, but as I said, standing at a weird angle. And yeah, that's Hollywood Heat. It's a really simple game. It's part of the reason why it's not that expensive compared to most pinball machines. And, you know, I actually keep a really good, healthy amount of savings for these kinds of things, because every so often, I'm the kind of person who prefers to make single big purchases every once in a blue moon, as opposed to lots of little purchases. So that's why I keep savings going in the first place, so that if something like this comes up that, you know, I wouldn't mind having, but is really expensive, I'm able to actually go for that kind of stuff, because I'm not buying all kinds of little things as go along. I don't know, that's just my philosophy towards it. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed seeing this thing. I still have a lot of work left to do in terms of maintenance to get it working perfectly, but, you know, I'll get there. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll leave you guys with some music clips to give you an idea of what's coming for the next filler video. See you guys then.